again a quick word to two groups in this ball. For those who don't know me, I'm Hardesh from Essentia, as if it wasn't visible already. Welcome, and I hope that these next 10 minutes are going to be useful, if not entertaining. And for those who don't know me, I offer my sympathies. I know you didn't choose to be here. You have been either bribed or coerced to be here, So, bear with me, yes? We have designed an entire industry around one sense, vision. Photograph, mood board, render, which is interesting because in 26 years of my career, I haven't seen anyone move into a mood board. People, the spaces that we design for people, they experience it with their bodies fully. And body does not ask what it looks like. What it asks is, what does it feel like to be here? And so when we focus on what does it look like, we miss out on all other senses, that we should be engaging in. And I think these next 9 minutes is what I'm going to use talking about exactly that. What does it feel? There is a moment when you walk into a great space and something in you just settles. Before your brain forms a conscious decision, your body has already decided what it feels about that space. And each designer in this room has created that moment. You know exactly what I mean. There is also, and I know because I have done it on more occasions than I care to admit, when you walk into a space and you think to yourself, there's something slightly off. I did specify everything correctly, but something doesn't work. So, and the answer is always in the thing that is not visible. It is always in the thing that is not visible. But the gap between what you visualized and what got built is where that settling disappeared. So closing that gap, let's talk about that a bit. Look at the word that has been embossed onto the marble, not stuck onto the surface, but pressed into it. Not a sticker, but a signature. Once on a production floor, I caught one of the craftsmen spending 40 minutes on a detail that would not be visible once the final installation was done. 40 minutes. I have had critical life decisions taken for me in much less time than that. Monica is not here, my wife, and if she were here, she would tell you, and she would be entirely accurate, that our entire life journey got decided in less time than that. 40 years ago, and that's a coincidence, 40 years ago I asked her out for a coffee. Somewhere between me saying coffee and her saying yes, she had apparently concluded that she was the love of my life, that I would be completely lost without her, and the most compassionate thing to do would be to give me exactly what her heart desired. Mind you, I was not consulting on any of this, I just wanted coffee. But she isn't wrong. So 40 minutes, so I asked him, I said, why are you doing this thing? Kisko dikhega? His reply was both illuminating and humbling. So he says, how main dekhta hu. Okay. I walked away nodding, pretending as if that is exactly what I wanted to hear. The millimeter that you do not consciously see is the millimeter that you subconsciously always feel. So your clients, they keep coming back, to the spaces that you build for them, the best spaces that you build for them, and they'll not be able to explain as to why they like it. That millimeter is why. So that attention to detail. Now every material has memory. Stone remains cold long after room has warmed. A fabric invites you to reach out in a way that a glass simply doesn't. Wood reacts by giving slightly, a quiet conversation between your hand. So these are not design attributes. These, I think, are the qualities in a product that's a discussion that each material is having with your body. In my journey, I've seen a lot of things. One of the things which continues till this day is the samples that we get. And I say this with great affection for all designers, and I see a lot of them, sitting here. That choosing materials, with sample the size of a business card, I think it's an act of hope that borders on heroic. You're not choosing materials. You're deciding what that particular thing will speak to the body of the person making next to it for the next 20 plus years. So choose well, choose accordingly. And now that I have the mic, I would like to also say that come to Essentia, where we always offer larger sample sizes. My humor is falling flat today, isn't it? So light, let's talk about light. So light is not something that you see, it's something that you also feel. It changes through the day and it changes everything around it. Monica decides to work with light at 4 in the afternoon. Not because that is the time when she has her coffee and she feels brightest, but I think that is the time when it becomes clear, when everything in that room was decided with care, or whether somebody got tired during third revision and started guessing. She's as usual right. I've learned to agree and move on. It saves time and the result is always better. But to give credit where it's due, in most of our conversations, she allows me the last words, as long as they are yes, dear. You like it, yes? Why is like that? Yes? So light is it's an instrument. So don't just choose it for a moment, for the perfect moment when the photographer shows up. Choose it for the entire day. We have so much. We have so many languages for what the eye sees. Decades of learning, schools of thought. Very large books, very expensive books with beautiful photographs and very fine print that nobody reads. We have almost no language for what the foot knows. When you enter a space, and even before a single thought has been formed, your foot has already decided whether the space is warm or cold, safe or uncertain, inviting or not. These are the conversations we have been having for centuries. We have spent last couple of decades photographing them instead of feeling them. I genuinely want everybody to go back to feeling them first. Now, fragrance is, I think, one of the most overlooked field. It's always regarded as a finishing touch, if at all. And to be honest, most of us, and I include ourselves in this group as well, treat fragrance as something to be decided on the day of the handover. At 4 p.m. in the afternoon, we'll send somebody, find something, depending upon what was available and what their taste is, they would come back with something which will either make the space smell like a spa or a temple, That was until we met Kulji. That changed everything that we think about fragrance. We went a little further and then we designed a range of fragrance ourselves, for Essentia Home. Not because we needed another product, but because smell is the only sense with a direct path, that part of your brain that holds memory. And that is why, combination of certain materials will take you back to a place where you haven't visited for years with a sharpness that no photograph can hold, and once you experience that, then you can never leave fragrance to chance or to with something that we decided at the last moment. I invite all of you to come visit the booth once again and now focus on the fragrance. Once you experience it, once you smell it yourself, I think there will be no going back. Our industry treats curation as style, as personal taste. And I say this with love, for all of us, a journey. It is not. It is an act of saying no repeatedly until what remains is what does that nothing else does. Remetizio, because nobody else has spent 50 years deciding as to how glass and metal can divide a room without cutting it off. Hindrabi, because nothing else. You need that Moroccan craft with fabric to bring that effect that nothing else brings. Nolte, because Selva standing right there, so I have to give credit to him. So every brand, every product that we introduce answers one question: not what does it look like, but does it earn its place? This matters to all the designers in this room directly. Why? Because when you select things, when you put things in a space with that level of certainty, when it can answer not what it looks like, but what it does that nothing else can do, your clients feel that certainty. They stop questioning. Because now, for them, you're not guessing, you're solving. Essentia Home, along with Armand, debuted at Milan Design Week this year. ये तालियों की तो जरूरत है ही, seriously. Thank you. So I wasn't there. My son Riddick was there, and he called me from the floor and described something that he felt was unexpected. People would come, walk by, and then come back. Not because of what they saw, I think, but when they come back, several of them, I think, asked him the same question as to where it was from, where was it made. And when he said India, the answer was not what might have been 10 years ago. It was simply, of course, not surprise, just recognition, And what impressed them was, I think, was how was the proportion, the scale, how the material sat, So I think Indian craft has always had this. What we have provided is, I think, a platform, for it to stand next to any other product in the world without apology, without explanation. We started with the wrong question. Let's end with the right one. What does it feel like to be here? So, what does it feel like to be here? Not as an afterthought, as the first question, the one that every material, every surface, every proportion is ultimately trying to answer. The spaces that genuinely last, that clients keep going back to, are the ones where every material was chosen with intention, where the light was thought about at 4 in the afternoon, where everything was resolved, not guessed at, where the fragrance was designed from the beginning, not at the last moment. The body is not a metaphor. It is the only brief that matters, Design for it first, the mood board and the visual and the render will follow. Thank you guys. I hope some of it was useful for some of you, and we are right here. So please do visit. More importantly, the bar is open, and I think arguably for some of us, that is the most important sensory decision that we can make for our bodies. Thank you.